At first glance, tourists sailing along the beach thought the creatures swimming towards them were dogs. But they were all wrong. Those are wild boars. They swam for hours in the sea. Where do they come from? Nobody knows. But their appearance on the beach made everyone panic. Deep into German territory, gunshots rang out, an uncompromising war, where millions of wild boars invaded Bavaria and how German farmers cope with them. Central European wild boars have coarse fur, small eyes, and sharp teeth connected to strong jaws. These invasive wild boars bring a lot of trouble. Wild boars can injure and even kill people. Southeast Germany is seeing a notable presence of wild boar over the past few decades. Wild boars stormed the Bavarian town on a peaceful Saturday morning, leaving behind damaged cars and destroyed fences. They ran away from the hunters and caused trouble for the people. Incidents increased and more police were deployed into the town. In nature, wild boars are extremely resilient. They can thrive in almost any environment and are known for their ability to eat just about anything. Those two characteristics make wild boars a highly adaptable creature. At the same time, it also makes them a nuisance. There is an interesting point. In the wild, wolves are the #1 enemy of wild boars. Although wild boars cause great damage in many places, much damage is not done in Germany's suburban areas, which are areas with sizable wolf populations. Unfortunately, wolves are not usually found around major agricultural areas. This means there is no natural mechanism to control their numbers. Worse still, a female wild boar can give birth to 2 litters of 5 to 8 cubs each, which further complicates the population problem. Births can occur every month of the year, with most wild boar populations having peak births occurring in the winter and spring months. Mother wild boars are very dangerous, especially when protecting their young, and they can hurt you. In areas where forage is abundant, reproductive rates may be higher than average. Without hunting, the population would triple every year. Wildlife biologists warn that this could quickly reach an area limit of 30 wild boars per square kilometre. That will be the end of the agricultural industry. Wild boars are large and ferocious, with some weighing up to 590 pounds. Their presence in the area has deprived native species of food sources. Deer are one of the species that must leave a habitat when wild boars arrive. They tore up the bush with roots and swamps, leaving only bare soil. Plants are not adapted to resist that type of attack and cannot regenerate fast enough. A herd of wild boars can destroy an entire field of crops in just a few days. Besides, wild boars are also vectors of diseases, containing many pathogens and parasites. They defecate in the fields, leaving behind fecal coliforms that can infect and endanger human and animal health. Conflicts between humans and wildlife have reached alarming levels all over the world. The tense relationship between the German people and wild boars reflects that. This is not a cute animal. Heads of states are forced to take measures to limit their invasion. When dealing with this aggressive species, there are some states that allow hunting of feral hogs from helicopters. With this flying speed and altitude, hunters are required to have higher techniques. No wild boar stands still, they must aim accurately during the chase. Chasing them on the ground is very dangerous. If not careful, farmers will likely be attacked by wild boars. Of course, conventional hunting like this is still more common. But to ensure safety, farmers must wear protective gear and use high-caliber weapons. The German Hunting Federation says Central Europe is turning into a land of abundance, as warmer weather causes more crops to grow. Not only farmers, but invasive wild boars also love this information. The wild boars born in spring are growing extremely well. It would not be surprising if wild animals grow healthy in good environments. But even in difficult times like climate change, wild boars are still beneficiaries. When faced with brutal invaders, protecting crops from wild boar damage is a serious topic for hunters from August to October. In Germany, a team of professional hunters was assigned to deal with them. If hunters responsible for restoration fail to prevent damage caused by feral pigs, they may be held responsible for farmers' lost crops. And the fine can reach tens of thousands of dollars. Hunting is mainly done in the evening and lasts until early morning. When hunting, hunters use different luring methods to attract wild boars. Oak sap is spread on the trees and attracts wild boars to rub on the trees. In addition, some tools such as sound generators are also used to increase the likelihood of successful hunting trips. Besides, orientated safaris are always stimulating and are popularly done. At this time, instead of waiting for the wild boar to arrive, the hunter will control the game. They actively searched based on the sounds emitted when the wild boar herd moved. Depending on speed and accuracy, experienced hunters can hunt several wild boars in just a few seconds. The hunter spotted a pig ahead. He gently took aim and killed it neatly. This is a job only for healthy and sharp people. He tried to run uphill in time to stop the pigs from escaping. Each shot must be very fast and accurate so that not a single wild boar can run away. The head or chest are the two preferred positions when hunting wild boar because they can cause higher mortality. That's how professional hunters deal a high damage attack and the results they obtain on today's trip. You can easily see wild boar meat on the dining tables of Americans or Australians, countries that also suffer a lot of damage from wild boars. However, wild boar meat in Germany is not popular because of radioactivity. Wild boars are one of the species most affected by the long-term consequences of the Chernobyl nuclear disaster. Experts say that unlike other wild animals, wild boars tend to store radiation because they plow contaminated soil with their snouts. Regardless, hunters still target wild boars with excessive radiation levels. Last year, they brought in a record number of 640,000 wild boars. And following that trend, the amount of contaminated meat also skyrocketed. Wild boar meat is so radioactive that it is considered dangerous for consumers. It needs to be thrown out and burned. If hunters are serious about bringing wild boar meat to the table, they will choose carefully from the wild boars they hunt. Then, wild boar meat is tested for radiation before use. Of course, they must also prioritize areas with low rates of radioactive wild boar for commercial hunting. In fact, sometimes selling to the government is more profitable than selling to commercial stores. Compensation from Germany's atomic energy law promises to give hunters a financial incentive to surrender radioactive wild boar meat. The appearance of wild animals in residential areas brings bad experiences like returning to prehistoric times. The man must walk while holding a stick in case the wild turkeys attack. They make leaving home an obsession for indigenous people. After all, how did a species that not long ago was on the brink of extinction across the continent become so widespread? Watch today's video to learn and see how American farmers deal with tens of thousands of wild turkeys. The wild turkey is an iconic American species, having sustained Native Americans for centuries. Through many periods of recession and recovery, the turkey population has returned in overwhelming numbers and has severely affected human life. Currently, it is estimated that there are nearly 6 million wild turkeys found in North America. Locals on the outskirts of Maui, Hawaii, believe that injuries found on pets and other animals in their area were caused by wild turkeys. Wild turkeys can be found on farms year-round, especially during the growing season. They do not directly target plants, but instead unintentionally cause harm when they scratch the soil in search of food like insects. Newly hatched wild turkeys grow rapidly and leave the nest within 12 to 24 hours of hatching. At this time, they are vulnerable to predation by wild boars, lynx, and birds of prey. The mortality rate of chicks is highest in the first 14 days of life. This reduces significantly after half a year when they grow closer to adult size. During this time, the hen will try to hide the chicks in a dense layer of feathers to avoid detection and limit death. Wild turkeys often become aggressive during breeding season, sometimes even attacking and acting aggressively toward humans. In some areas, it is illegal to feed wild turkeys, because when they are familiar with humans, they can consider humans as fellow humans and be in the harsh ranking competition of the herd. This means humans will be easier to attack. This behavior is most common in the fall when young wild turkeys begin to compete with adult wild turkeys in the flock. Turkeys often roost in trees, spending the night on the ground. It is not uncommon for birds to have a favorite roosting tree that they return to night after night. As urban and suburban wild turkey populations grow, so do conflicts between humans and them. Surely you will often encounter wild turkeys wandering on the road, and this not only affects the environment, but also creates many dangerous traffic situations. This behavior distracts the driver, causes delays, and is also the cause of unwanted collisions. Besides, their relentless search for food can destroy gardens and lawns. If you see images of wild turkeys pecking at a car, they are mistaking their reflection for a predator. Let's find out the reasons behind the wild turkey invasion. Some information suggests that this invasion may stem from overbreeding. Each breeding season, they usually lay 10 to 15 eggs per clutch. This leads to large numbers of female turkeys, increasing the risk of invasion and affecting the ecological balance in the area. For species that can fly like wild turkeys, fences cannot prevent their destruction. Of course, farmers do not let this situation continue. They choose to hunt them down. Net trapping is done, but it takes a lot of time. In the immediate future, hunting is the most effective control measure. Hunters can easily track the tracks left by wild turkeys on the land. These footprints help shorten the search process. In winter, when snow falls, things are easier for hunters. However, the disturbance of wild turkeys is no less. In Illinois, wild turkeys can be hunted during 2 seasons, one in the fall and one in the spring. They may be hunted with guns or appropriate archery equipment, but local regulations may limit the use of these tools in urban and suburban environments to avoid danger. These fake turkeys act to attract real wild turkeys to the area. The only thing left is to wait, aim accurately at the target, and take it down with one shot. Interestingly, this method is quite effective and is used by many hunters. Until they are shot and fall, wild turkeys have no idea that this attractive friend is just a hunting prop. Silence is the key to a successful hunt. Hunters are so careful that they prepare clothes that are almost green in color to camouflage themselves. When the target appears, the timing of the shot is carefully chosen to ensure success. The echoing sound of gunfire, the moment a wild turkey was taken down, marked farmers' resistance to invasive wildlife. The spring wild turkey hunting season in the US lasts from late April to late May. Some farmers cannot concentrate on hunting because everyone is too busy growing crops. That's why early morning hunting sessions like this happen. The invasion of wild turkeys over many decades has had a huge impact on people's culture and life. Instead of living and working as usual, they now have to deal with the problem of invasive wild turkeys. Even children experience and train hunting from a very early age. Through this activity, the next generation will be more aware of the issue of preventing and protecting wildlife in the environment. However, overhunting also has the potential to push them towards the brink of extinction once again. Therefore, all hunting activities must be licensed by the area manager. Cooking wild turkeys after a hunt is a great way to enjoy the rewards of a good hunt. Have you ever eaten wild turkey meat? If so, please leave a comment below and share your thoughts on its taste. Wild turkey meat is a source of protein and healthy fats that are rich in vitamins and minerals. This is a wonderful dish from a dramatic hunting experience combined with fresh and unique flavors. Hunting and cooking wild turkeys is not only a fun activity, but also an important part of American culinary culture. In addition, hunting plays an important role in managing wild turkey populations. This helps minimize negative impacts on agriculture and communities, maintaining balance in the ecosystem.